Little incantation with blasphemy. I'm sorry you had to hear me do that. Blasphemy. Okay, in case you didn't understand what I was saying. Blasphemy by Incantation. Probably the best band that was playing that Devastation masturbation show. Ooh. I'm drinking organic pear juice. I don't know, man. It's weird. That's all I can say about it. So as always, thank you to my sponsors, Blackbird Tattoo and Piercing, 300 South State, Clearfield, Utah. They will pierce you, they will tattoo you. So go there and do that. Also, Until Forever, go to Spikes and Hate Store, nv.com, and buy some shit. Yeah, man. Just on a little side note, my cousin Kyle, who is the stock car driver, is looking for sponsors. If any of you have a small business or anything like that, you want to help it get promoted, contact me at rocketpodcast.com, and I will put you in touch with cousin Kyle. Yeah, I guess they're always looking for sponsors, and he's looking for a sponsor to help him with I don't know, whatever's going on with his car, his race car, stock car. So yeah, man, if you're kind of interested in that, if you're interested in stock car racing, or have a small business, or a business that is not small but large, I don't know, whatever, contact me and I will put you in touch with them. rocketpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, that's where you guys can all reach me and hit me up. I absolutely love it when bands post their stuff on Bandcamp. I absolutely love Bandcamp. And of course, that's where you can find that Incantation Blasphemy track. But yeah, man, when bands post, especially if it's like download for free content, I know it's I'm a cheap ass and pay for the artists and all this stuff. But when they do that, I always jump on the opportunity to download it for free, and I will make the effort to play it here on my show and promote it best I can. Yeah, so today I will be playing a song from Odium Totus, a personal friend of mine, also killer musician, and you go to his Bandcamp, and we'll get to all that shit later. But yeah, man, so that's basically it for right now. If you have some kind of interest in the stock car sponsorship, whatever, hit me up. And of course, thank you all for tuning in to the Rocket Podcast. I appreciate it very much. Still just a little, kind of labor of love thing that I do on my own. I don't make any money off of it. I just kind of do it because I enjoy doing it, that sort of thing. That being said, I do have some upcoming guests that I will announce right now. So yeah, some upcoming guests. I got June 29th, a Reverend of the Church of Satan, Reverend Adam Campbell, and Cameron John, the owner of Blackbird Tattoo and Piercing. We'll be on here talking about Satan stuff. And then July 6th, fitness coach, Navy vet, old buddy of mine, James Bacchus, will be on here. And we'll be talking about Olympic weightlifting and competitive weightlifting and I don't know, all kinds of weightlifting stuff. And then July 27th, my friend who's behind the band, the one-man band Regurgitated, who I've played on here. And then he also has another project called Chalice Dungeon, which I played last episode. Check that shit out. Riley Van Wagner. Probably one of the best guitarists I know. And August 11th, Sean Duggar from Salt Lake City Hardcore compilation. He's doing another one. He's doing a compilation 2 just for bands around Salt Lake City and all that jazz. So yeah, man, he was one of my first guests, so that'll be pretty cool to have him back on here and talk music with them and see what new bands are going on around Salt Lake City right now. And I'm a little bit out of touch with all that fun jazz. But yeah, man, we'll fucking get those people on here. And of course there's going to be other guests and all that. These are just a couple that I know for sure that I'm going to, I've confirmed the date and times and all that stuff. So yeah, that's where we are with that as far as guests go. And here's another song. There was some bass melting riffs right there. Beyond Despair, The Dawn of Rebirth by Dragar. Draghkar. And you can find them at their Bandcamp. And they have a bunch of stuff right now for free download. Do you consider yourself a reasonable person? If you sit back and think, are you a reasonable person? And if you are, have you ever been pushed to the limit where you would do unreasonable things? Question. June 4th, 2004. That exact thing happened in Granby, Colorado. A man named Marvin Heemeyer, who owned a muffler shop, small businessman, trying to expand a little bit, and what happened was Granby was a bit of a growing area, growing little town, and there was a concrete business that moved into town, and it was right across the street from Mr. Heemeyer's muffler shop, and it blocked the main entrance to his shop. He petitioned city council about it. He tried to go down all the correct avenues, and just one thing after another, when it came to dealing with the city council in Granby, Colorado, they didn't give a shit. They didn't care. They cut off the sewage line to the area, to his land, to his business. So imagine having no sewage, running water, toilets backing up, all kinds of things. And then they fined him for it. It destroyed his business. He had to sell the business. He had to sell the land he was on. And he had 6 months to vacate the premises, to get the fuck off the land. He lost his business. And all these things happened in the same year. He lost his business. His fiancée cheated on him, so he, canceled the wedding plans. And his dad died. And so he's pushed completely to his breaking point. Basically, his whole life was falling apart all around him. So what did he do? Those of you who already know the story know exactly what he did. He built himself, all he had left was a bulldozer that he was going to build a new road to his business with. The business he no longer had, the land he no longer had. All he had was that at his house. So he built himself the Killdozer. And on June 4th, 2004, around 3 p.m., he smashed through the walls. First place he hit, concrete factory, obviously. Went right after him. Then he went to the mayor's former home, demolished that. A newspaper who wrote a slighted article against him went there. City council building, city hall, gone. And then Amble's Hardware is where they finally caught him. And they never actually caught him. I think the tracks of the bulldozer and something to do with the ground, and it started to slow down. And it got stuck somewhere, right? And he was, the thing was surrounded by welded-on steel. He welded himself in there. There was no way he was coming out of that thing. But he was just like, they're not going to take me alive. So he put a 357 to his head and took his own life. But what is the saying about, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to take some of you sons of bitches with me? Pretty much the synopsis here. He recorded all the things that he did to the bulldozer to modify it into the Killdozer. He recorded all of it. I think a lot of it you can find on YouTube. But the most striking thing that he made, what he wrote was, I was always willing to be reasonable until I had to be unreasonable. Sometimes reasonable men have to do unreasonable things. A lot of people celebrate this man as an American hero. I, for one, agree. You don't take people in your community and use your governmental powers and screw them over. The small businesses are a crucial part of our American landscape, of our American culture, and you don't do that shit. This is an example of government overreach, where our government has become so big that every little thing a businessman or woman even are trying to do to survive or thrive and make their American dream come true, we have to go through all this bullshit red tape, and of course money wins out overall, and this is what happens when you are pushing a man to his limits, to the edge. So have we learned anything? Have we advanced in any way from back in 2004? Or is government still playing mommy and daddy to its citizens, tax-paying citizens? Are we still under this subjugative, where anything we want to do, that we should have the liberty to do, could be stopped at any moment because a bureaucrat says no? And make no mistake about this situation. The concrete factory could have built elsewhere, also they could have built a different road. They could have. There's so many different avenues that they could have taken, other than destroying this man's life, destroying this man's business, and driving him to the point where he becomes Michael Douglas in the movie Falling Down, which I think is still very apt today. I only imagine how many times I've had a discussion or saw a meme or whatever of people discussing that movie or situations like this where they're like, yeah, he was pushed to his limits. It had gone too far. Just as I'm speaking this, I'm immediately reminded of Cliven Bundy and what was going on with the grazing, cattle grazing stuff going on in, I believe it was Nevada. And it's also polarizing too, because obviously people that celebrate freedom, immediately fall to the side of supporting individual liberty and the small businessman and traditional means of getting your American dream realized, and other folks, see them all as like, oh, they're terrorists and they're doing it because they have white privilege and all that shit. It's sad that it's so polarizing, and a friend of mine not too long ago made a post about, he's a native, and made a social media post about, when the BLM comes on native land, they don't really. Sorry, I was losing my train of thought. But when the BLM goes on native land, they send like the FBI or someone just to shoot natives, and then or something of that sort. And then when it's white ranchers with guns, they go and they negotiate. And my response to that was, learn the laws, learn your rights, and strap up. You know what I mean? Get guns and get knowledge. You know what I mean? Put yourself in a position in which you are a force to be reckoned with. And I think that is good advice for a friend. And also, I think that's what Marvin Heemeyer did here. They were destroying his life, destroyed his business. So he made himself a force to be reckoned with. And on June 4th, I think a lot of us remember this guy and, what he did, and see it as an act of heroism, and in defense of liberty, in defense of that American dream that we all strive for so diligently. And yeah, it's a sad story, and businesses were destroyed and all that stuff, but it's kind of just like I said right when I started first discussing this. It's like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna take some of you sons of bitches with me. That whole attitude. Because I think that shows a lot of strength and a lot of power, and even if people thought they could just push this guy until he was pushed past his limits, and he did end up taking his own life, and that was it's a sad ending to the story, but it does take some fucking balls to do that kind of thing. So that's kind of my take on that. I think Marvin Heemeyer is a guy that should be celebrated. and hopefully government can learn a lesson from it. But in the past 13 years, I've seen it doesn't really seem like they have. So these type of things might continue. If Americans are being pushed and pushed, Americans don't like being pushed. At least the ones I know. But those of you who've been listening to the show for a while know kind of where I stand, and the format's kind of changed. I guess this could be considered, he was a national, file under the gimmick thing of National Treasure I was doing for a while, and I haven't really done any of those. But yeah, man, this guy had some fucking balls, and I admire that kind of thing. So on that note, I will play another song.
Once and for the
That was Dystopia Paradigm by Odium Totus. From the album, let me find it. From the album In Inceptum Finis Est. Go to Odium Totus's Bandcamp. He has that for free download right now, that whole album. So jump on that shit because that's fucking worth it. And I thought, no better way to end talking about a person being pushed too far than playing that song. Dystopia Paradigm is a paradigm that we are in, isn't it? Anyway, folks, so yeah. I'll, fucking... That first song I played was Blasphemy by Incantation, incantation666bandcamp.com. Odium Totus at bandcamp.com, and of course, Drakar at bandcamp.com. So, go check all of those out. What do I have coming up next? I don't really know. June's kind of a crazy month for us. My sister-in-law's getting married this weekend, and then me and old Cameron John are gonna drive up to Idaho Falls the following weekend to see Wedding Funeral play brewery and hang out with them. And then on the 22nd, I think I'm going up to the woods to honor my ancestors and maybe do some camping. And then on the 29th, I have a bunch of dirty Satanists coming in here to talk about Satanism. So, yeah, kids. Thank you all for tuning in, and I think I'll play one more song. I'll play Pursued by Black Forms by Drakar.